everyone, welcome you back. So this week we will be discussing about pragmatics. First of all, let us take a brief look at the difference between pragmatics and semantics. As we know, semantics is a study of how language organizes and expresses meanings, while pragmatics is a study of how language is used in social contexts. So have you noticed the differences here? The focus is different, right? So semantics is mainly concerned with the speaker's competence to use the language system in order to understand and produce meaningful utterances, while pragmatics focuses on a person's ability to get or infer meaning from specific situations. What are the keywords here?
Semantic sentence is important and pragmatic is the utterance.
Okay, yeah, very good. So we focus on the use of the words and the use of the languages, right? So if we talk about pragmatics, we focus on the actual use of the language in a social context, right? But for semantics, we focus on the
Competence and pragmatics.
Yes, we focus on the say the competence. That's right. So maybe structures, the features of the textual features, right? So or say direct meanings, right? But for pragmatics, we may figure out what are the inferred meanings, right? What are the indirect meanings? Is that right? Okay, good. First of all, I want to draw your attention to the most important theory in pragmatics, that is speech-act theory. Okay, later I will introduce two more, cooperative principle and politeness theory as well. Now, let us get started with speech-act theory. This theory is proposed by John Austin. So his pioneer work is How to Do Things with Words. Have you ever heard of John Austin? Yeah.
I read his
He's
book,
a philosopher.
Yes, some years ago. I don't remember too much about it.
Okay, you read his work before? Cool. So how to do things with words? Wow, good for you. Now, first of all, what are the speech acts? Speech acts are the actions performed while utterances. So utterances here, we mean the, say meaningful units, okay, of both spoken versus and the, say written languages. Okay, the meaningful units. Okay, so the language is used for far more than making statements. It can also refer to a kind of action. So we use language, of course, sometimes to make a statement, right? Sometimes to describe something, but sometimes we use language just to refer to a certain action. So for example, like I speak something. Meanwhile, I'm doing something. For example, take a look at these sentences. I declare this meeting open. The chair of the conference may say like this, right? So right after he or she uttered, I declare this meeting open. Then what? The action occurs. The meeting officially starts, right? The meeting officially started. How about the second one? I promise to take a taxi home. So I utter this sentence. Then, I am doing the social act of promising, right? Also, I truly appreciate your help. While I utter this sentence, I'm doing something, right? I'm, of course, communicating this social act of appreciation or this, social act of thanking. Does it make sense? So here, I actually list some of the social acts here. Some examples are requesting, questioning, promising, thanking, performing ceremonies, etc.
Those all have like names, right?
Yes, very good one. So we will discuss the different types of performative verbs. Very good. Thank you for pointing that out. So we will learn it, frequently and sequentially. So next one. This definitely what Mary mentioned. These are called performative verbs, right? So for example, like declare, promise, and appreciate, right? What is a performative verb?
That they perform something, that they act.
Good.
Do an action.
Good. So this is a verb that names the speech act, right? So for instance, if you take a look at our textbook, Shirley introduced the 5 types of performative verbs, right? So they are assertives, directives, commissives, declarations, and expressives. Okay, if you take a look at the textbook, and we actually have them on page 50, let us go through all these definitions together. First of all, assertives or representatives are utterances reporting statements of fact verifiable as true or false, right? So here, I give you some examples of the performing verbs, such as performative verbs, such as affirm, state, and declare, right? It's a kind of, a statement of a fact, okay? Now, second type, directives. Directives are utterances intended to get someone to do something. You let somebody do something by using the directive performative verbs. Some examples are order, direct, or recommend. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Yes. Next type is called commissives. Commissives are utterances committing one to do something. So I promise to do something, right? So here, promise is one example. And also like pledge, right? Okay, so you try to, commit yourself to doing something. Then, say you are doing the commissive. You're using the commissives to perform the social act, right? And next one is declarations. Declarations are utterances bring about a change in a state of affairs. For example, I now pronounce you husband and wife, right? So now you can see the situation, the state of affairs, change, right? Like let's say declare as well. Like I declare the meeting open, right? Now the state of affairs changed. Now how about expressives? There's a lot of examples of, say expressives, such as thank, congratulate, or apologize, right? A lot of performative verbs. What does it mean by expressive? So expressives refer to, that's right, very good, show the speaker's attitude. So it refers to the utterances expressing speaker attitude. Or sometimes we call that even include emotions, right? Okay, is it clear?
Yes.
So actually in your chapter assignment, you got a chance to, kind of like distinguish these different types of performative verbs. Okay, you just need to review all the definitions and think about the specific performative verb, and then you can find out the answer.
So that was the bad news after the good news.
Okay, that's right. Okay. According to John Austin, there are 3 levels of performative utterances. They are perlocutionary act, elocutionary act, and locutionary act. So from the lower level, we have locutionary, or that is, most apparent here, locutionary. So it addresses the performance of utterance. So usually with a particular meaning, right? But it goes deeper, then it becomes an elocutionary act. So elocutionary act refers to the action intended by the speaker with a particular force. And after that, the third level is called perlocutionary act. So that is the effect or take-up of the elocutionary act, especially on the hearer. Okay? Judging from the definitions, you are very clear that we need to consider these different levels of the performative utterances. But you are not sure how. Then I'll give you an example, and then you're clear about it. Fire. Let us analyze the locutionary act. If I shout, fire.
Yeah, that's the word, fire.
Okay, so a word is uttered, right?
Yeah.
So we hear consonant, we hear I, right? The consonant, the vowel, and consonant, right? And only one lexicon, right? Here we know, okay, something to do with what? The meaning of the fire. Then we see something like something visually, like the burning, like heat, smoke, something like that. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Then let us talk about the illocutionary act. Am I just describing fire? Of course, no. I have something implied, right? What is specific action intended by the speaker?
So if there is a fire, we should do something, yeah?
That's right. So this is a warning, right? Or this is an order.
Yeah.
Get out of here. So dangerous. Get out of here, right? So now we know the illocution act is an action intended by the speaker. You need to infer from the, direct meaning, right? You should say, fire, get out of here, right? Or run, something like that, right? Then how about perlocutionary? Perlocutionary act.
For example, that person runs out of the room.
Good, very good. This focus on the effect, or we call it take-up of the illocutionary act. The person exited the building, right? The person ran out of the place, right? Then now we know, oh wow, that is really important, right? Every time when we discuss the language use, we want to put these specific utterances in a social context. Then we can get the meanings, accurately, right? And appropriately. And also we can use language appropriately, right? So pragmatics is really very important, right? Everybody can have a lot of good examples, that you can draw on, in your daily life, right? Okay. Any questions so
I was
far?
thinking of the word fire, for example, start shooting.
Oh, exactly.
The same thing.
Exactly. Same thing. That's right. That's right.
When he says fire, that person, knows that this is an order, and then the perlocutionary act will be, for example, pulling the trigger and shooting.
Wow, this is very
Something
good.
like
I agree. Because actually there are different situations.
Yeah.
We definitely have a different social context, right? We just need to actually analyze the meanings, in social context. Very good example.
Because if somebody is holding a gun,
Exactly.
Yeah.
say fire, you're not gonna look around.
That's right.
Fire.
Exactly. Good. Okay, nice discussion. Now, next one. Have you ever thought of some other icons other than language that can also have illocutionary force?
Gestures.
Yeah, gestures. Very good. Gestures. Anything else? How about icon? Like the traffic sign.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Exactly.
Like stop,
Stop.
right? And then it definitely has illocutionary and perlocutionary force, right? Now here, I want to introduce you to this one, emoticons. So, what is the emoticon? Which two words does this word come from?
Emotion and
Icon.
Very good. Emotion and icon. Good. What is the word? By the way, what is the word formation? You have
blend.
emotion, blending. Very good.
Yeah,
Blending
yeah.
emotion and icon, then blend the emoticon. Right? Very good. So this blending word. So emoticon. What is an emoticon? By the way, do you know that? No, of course, right? So it is
When you have a smiley face.
smiley face, sad face, right? Good. So emoticons are usually those graphic signs, especially those nonverbal indicators of emotion. We have smiley face, sad face. How about that one? Third one?
Surprise.
Surprise. That's right. So here I want to introduce the illocutionary force of the emoticons. So that is to say sometimes these emoticons not really only focus on the emotions, it can also give us the illocutionary force. That is to say, you need to figure out whether there is an elocutionary force of the specific text. If a certain emoticons is used, do you think the author, the speaker, actually means something different, right? So you need to figure it out what the user intends by what he or she uses or types, right? I'll give you two examples here. Number one, the teacher emailed to invite several students to join her in a group photo shot in her office. One student replied, "Oh, I must put on some hair gel tomorrow." Something important here, emoticon?
Yeah, so she likes that.
He's excited, right?
Yeah.
He likes it, yeah. Do you think basically this person trying to say that he'll definitely do something? To have some hair gel tomorrow. Is this true? Is this real?
It doesn't mean that exactly she will put some hair gel, but it means that he or she will attend.
Yes.
And she's really happy. Yes.
Very good, very good. What do you think?
I think it's a humorous
Effect, right?
effect. Like, oh yeah, I'll be there. And I'm gonna make sure that I.
That's right. So I would be happy to to join you guys, and I'm super excited, and I get prepared, right?
Mhm.
That's right. But who knows? Possibly he will not, have the hair gel at all, right? But so this specific emoticon may mean what? May mean he's teasing or he's joking, but at least it shows something that we know that he's interested in it. He's super excited, right? Okay, he might be not so serious, right?
Well, I wouldn't think he's serious because it's it's a wink.
The week, that's right.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's right. That specific emoticon definitely give us some implied meanings, right? Very good one. Okay, how about next sentence? Do you think this is something to do with emotion? Since I've never worked on this type of data before, I'm writing for some suggestions.
It's a nice way of asking
That's
for help,
right. That's
With the smiley face, you're hopeful.
Yes. So look at this sentence. That's very interesting. When we talked about the sentence type, I'm writing for some suggestions. I'm writing for some suggestions. Seems like it's a statement, right?
Mhm.
I state that. See what I'm doing, but actually it has indirect speech act. Don't you think so?
Asking for suggestions.
Very good. So actually, he's trying to what? Seek help. Right? He's actually trying to get some feedback or get some input. Right? So he's requesting something or he's requesting help. Then this person used emoticon to what? To be polite, right? Or to mitigate this request. So the purpose of this emoticon has nothing to do with his emotion here, but he or she tries to mitigate the request for assistance. Very good. So I would be happy to see someone who's, say maybe will do some research in the future on emoticons. This is so good topic, nowadays in CMC, context. So computer communicated communication, computer mediated communication context. We have a lot of, say emoticons that are used among our, say message exchange, around maybe the Facebook messages, text messages, right? And then you can definitely analyze the different functions of those emoticons, right? In which ways they are used, and what are the functions, right? And what factors may influence our use of emoticons. So you can find out tons of topics.
Noticed about these emoticons is really interesting. That in different countries, yes, they interpret them in according to their culture.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
Can you
even
give us an
something-
example?
For example, look at that one that is winking.
You mean this
Yes,
one?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I have most of the time I have seen back home when they want to
Uh-huh.
persuade someone to do something, they use that one. Yes.
Persuade someone.
Yeah.
I see.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
It's like, for example, please do it for me. Yes.
Oh, okay, I
Yes.
see.
Kind of begging to help. Yes, to get help. They
Okay.
use that one.
So that would be so even a say good say sign for you to use in order to persuade others, right? Oh, that's good to know. Yeah, good.
For example, I don't know, it is emoticon or not. I haven't seen, for example, when they want to send like, yes, they use this one as a like.
Like,
Yes. Okay, but in some countries you can never do that.
That's right.
Because it is insulting.
Exactly. Yeah.
Really?
Sometimes, yeah, exactly. We need to be very, very careful. That's right. We need to be aware of the cultural differences.
Yeah, exactly.
You know. That's right. That's right.
So a thumb up
Especially
is
like gestures, right?
Sorry to say that. It is in some countries, in Arabic countries, or for example, even in Iran, it is like showing finger. Yeah, you have never seen, for example, while playing soccer in Arabic countries or in Iran, for example, to do these to the people, yes, because that is really offensive. Yeah.
so then on like your social media, you don't press the thumbs up button
No.
if you are, Arabic or you're from one of those countries.
So which one do you use, by the way?
Would it be the heart then?
Exactly. Yes.
That's to show that you like something.
They use heart, for example.
I see.
Yeah.
So if you want to be disrespecting, then you do the thumbs up.
Exactly.
That's funny because they've even like
That's all.
they've included an emoticon now that is like anger, like when you're angry, you can press that on social media. So y'all have two.
That's right. That's right. So we have actually a lot of say interesting topics to discuss. Right? We can do research on that. By the way, I'm interested in something like the Chinese actually use even the numbers to mean something that we are kind of like shy to say. I can give you one example, and you can say no for sure what this means. It's very interesting when we actually express our love, our feeling, and we feel a little bit shy to say that I love you, right? We sort of say like that, honestly. That's weird, right? Even in a family, I love you. These three words are not so easy for us to, utter. However, usually, especially the younger ones love to use it, especially like between teenagers, high school, college school students, female and male, if they actually have a really kind of like feelings that they want to share, this feeling with others, they have like let's say 我爱你 is one, say 5, that means 5. So actually that is really to do the numbers. It has something to do with the say pronunciation, because the numbers may be very similar to the exact Chinese characters. Let me see. So that is interesting that you have like 520. 520, because when you pronounce 5, that is 5. It actually means 我, that means I. They have R is number 2, and that is very similar to I, like love. And the 0 in Chinese, the pronunciation is 你, right? 你 and 你. That's very interesting. So we have 520 means I love you. Right? That's very interesting. So we can have a lot of combinations of different, numbers. I know they even publish books like that. How those combinations of numbers may mean, something. That is interesting, because also these specific icons can mean something, or we try to, say kind of like be so direct. So we refer to numbers, right, to help us express.
Text 520 to your husband to see what would he say.
So cultural definitely differs, right? Nobody would understand if they do not know Chinese culture at all, right? That's right. That's interesting.
Everything that's a building.
That's right. Mm-hmm. It's very interesting. So they even add like 1314 to show that forever. 生生世世 that means forever. They have 501314 or say 3344. That's very interesting. Okay, got it. Next one. Let us discuss this indirect and direct speech act very quickly. Sometimes we know, even though we look like this specific, say utterance is something to do with, the specific frequent question, direct act. But in fact, this indirect act is totally different. Do I really ask you yes or no questions? When I say, would you mind passing me the salt? I'm really expecting that you said yes or no. Am I expecting the answer yes or no?
No,
No.
you're
No.
expecting.
I'm expecting that you actually do this for me, right? So for example, here, I would say, it is very similar to request. It's like, pass me the salt, please. Does it make sense? So now you know, direct act is a question, but indirect act is a request. That is something to do with grammaticals. Okay, next one. I must ask you to leave my house. I must ask you to leave my house. So once again, this is something to do with statement, right? But actually, I want to do what? I want to do this
Leave the
order
house.
action.
Yeah, exactly.
Get out of here,
Yeah.
right? This order. Or this is kind of like a directives, right? According to survey, this is directive, right? You direct somebody to do something, right? And next thing else, leave me and I'll jump in the river, right? I'll jump in the river. So of course we know this is a threat, but if you just take a look at this direct act, it is, it has nothing to do with threat. Like I'll jump in the river, that is statement. But leave me, that is an order, right? So, but we understand it. In the context, we understand this is a threat.
Yeah.
Okay, so we tend to use a lot of indirect speech acts, right, in our daily life. Sometimes we try to be polite, so sometimes, say we don't want to say something directly. Instead, we use something indirect, but others can understand us. The next theory that is very important and also very interesting is cooperative principle. According to Grice, cooperative principle is a principle we may want to obey in order to be cooperative, right? So there are 4 types of maxims of a conversation. So let us take a look at this YouTube video and we'll learn what are the Grice's maxims of conversation. Okay, now we need to figure out what are these 4 maxims, right? And in which way these maxims should be obeyed or disobeyed.
Avid learner of linguistics, welcome. In this video you're going to learn about the importance of the Gricean cooperative principle. The linguist Lama is usually a quite whimsical guy. If asked whether Grice's maxims are important, he replies that sandwiches are tasty, which does not really answer our question. Or does it? Now, the cooperative principle is generally about cooperation with one another, hence the name cooperative principle. When 2 people speak, we can presuppose that they cooperate in order to bring meaning across. And in order to bring meaning across properly, we have so-called maxims of conversation, which are the following. The first maxim is the quality maxim, which basically means to tell the truth. Here we have Derb and Derpina engaging in a conversation. She asks him how old he is. And what does Derb say? He is 145, which is false. So he didn't apply the maxim of quality correctly, because he's actually 20. The next maxim is the maxim of quantity, which means that messages should be as economic as possible, that is, explain the world with just a handful of words. Again, Derpina asks for Derb's age, and what he gives to her is a quite extensive arithmetic problem. Sorry, Derb, but you've just violated the maxim of quantity. The third maxim is concerned with relevance. It says that we should only reply correctly. Here, Derpina asks for Derb's age again, and Derb says, I like cheesecake. Way to go, Derb. That's how you should not do it. The last maxim is the manner maxim, which means that we should give information in a clear and orderly way, without confusing our partner. And again, Derpina inquires Derp's age, and he replies, "Am I 20 years old or 243 months old? And when does life begin anyway?" Wow, in violating maxims, Derp certainly takes the cake. Here are some more things that you can do with maxims. First of all, you can violate them without being noticed, which we generally call lying, as you see in this example, where A asks B, "Did you eat the last pancake?" And B replies, "No, I didn't," although he did. You can also violate maxims deliberately, which is called flouting. For instance, if you say, "You wrecked my car," a fine friend you turn out to be. What you can also do is refrain from cooperation, which is called opting out. By saying, "My lips are sealed," you signify that you don't want to talk anymore. So now you know how to communicate in the correct way. And another cool way of sticking to the quantity maxim is using implicatures. And if you want to know what implicatures are, you can click the "What is an implicature" button. Thank you for watching.
Okay. So what are the 4 maxims that are discussed here?
Quantity, quality, relation, and map.
Good. Are you familiar with all these maxims? Yeah. Okay. So quality. Let's go. Quality refers to basically that means that you definitely want to contribute only what you know to be true, right? So you never tell lies, right? So you do not say false things. Then secondly, quantity. Make your contribution as informative as is required. Do not say more than is required, right? You can say less or you can say more, but that is not cooperative, right? Next one, manner. You try to avoid obscurity or ambiguity. You should be brave and orderly. And the last one is relation, or sometimes we call relevance. Relation, relevance. Okay, they are exchangeable. So that is to say, you make your contribution relevant, right? So let us take a look at the definitions again. On page 56, we have a table here, and table 3.1, right? There are 4 maxims of cooperative principle here, and it gives not only the summary but also the description, right? I think this is very clear for you now. So for quantity, don't say too much, don't say too little. Quality, be truthful. Relation, say on topic, don't digress. And last one is manner. Make sure what you say is clear and unambiguous. Did you notice that, sometimes we purposefully or deliberately flouted this principle, these maxims. We purposefully do that, right? Why?
Not to hurt someone's feelings.
Yeah. When this happens, we know the complication, so the conversation implicator occurs. If a maxim is violated or flouted, a conversational implicator occurs. So that is to say, the utterance receives an interpretation that goes beyond the spoken words. Sometimes we, use this we have these conversational implicators only because of the politeness factors, right? We want to be polite sometimes. We want to tell you the truth, right? If this is a very bad situation, right? I even, pretend that I don't know, right? So this is something that we need to discuss about. So next one, I would love you to take a look at this specific example. These examples come from a Big Bang Theory, okay? So this will show you how the maxims, the 4 maxims are violated or flouted in order to reach the humorous effect.
So I was doing some checking on the ring.
Hold on, Sheldon, is that ketchup on the table?
Yes, there is. But here's a fun fact. Ketchup started out as a general term for sauce, typically made of mushrooms or fish brine with herbs and spices. Some popular early main ingredients included blueberry, anchovy, oyster, kidney bean, and grape. No, that's okay, I'll get it.
Leonard, a moment.
What?
If someone, and of course we don't know who this would be, does ask where you've gone, what should I say?
I don't know. Just tell him I went to the office.
Are you going to the office?
No.
Well, how can I say it convincingly?
Just say Leonard went to the office.
All right. Leonard went to the office.
What is... No, not like that. Just Leonard went to the office.
This would have worked out a lot better if you just told me you were going to the office.
I'm going to the office.
See, why don't I believe you? Doesn't anyone want to know where he's going?
Okay, where is he going?
Leonard is going to the office. Penny, are you experiencing some sort of difficulty?
Yes, I can't get my stupid door open.
You appear to have put your car key in the door lock. Are you aware of that?
Yeah.
All right, then.
Damn it.
Would it be possible for you to do this a little more quietly?
I can't get the damn key out.
Well, it's not surprising. That Baldwin lock on your door uses traditional edge-mounted cylinders, whereas the key for your Volkswagen uses a center cylinder system.
Thank you, Sheldon.
You're welcome. Point of inquiry, why did you put your car key in the door lock?
Why? I'll tell you why. Because today I had an audition. It took me 2 hours to get there. I waited an hour for my turn, and before I could even start, they told me I looked too Midwest for the part. Too Midwest? What the hell does that even mean?
Well, the American Midwest was mostly settled by Scandinavian and Germanic people. They have a characteristic facial...
I know what it means, Sheldon! God! You know...
I want to build a road, but I need wood. Either of you fellas have wood? I don't understand the laughter. The object of Settlers of Catan is to build roads and settlements. To do so requires wood. Now, I have sheep. I need wood. Who has wood for my sheep? Now, where were we? Oh, yes. Does anyone have any wood? Come on. I just want wood. Why are you making it so hard? And now that I have some wood, I'm going to begin the erection of my settlement. He's going to be doing this on purpose. Now, back to our game. When you were in the middle of an erection? Oh, of course, it's right here in my hand.
Any comment on this?
I think when she was trying to open the door, she maybe flouted more than one maxim. Is it possible? Because she said, for example, why did you put the car key there? Then she started talking and talking. Yes. So she.
So you are talking about like the maximum of relevance? What else?
No,
like
for
quantity?
example, quantity. So
Too much, right?
This scene showed, I think, two, where Sheldon was doing the quantity maxim.
Attack.
you know, where he was like saying, well, you do look Midwestern, or that's what this is.
That's
And he's
right.
like, I want it. And then she was flouting the relevant maxim. So there were like two maxims that were being flouted there.
That's right. It's possible. Exactly.
Where I saw that.
Yeah, that's right. And I remember the first one, when they tried to get help about, say, passing the checkup.
Yeah.
Right? Remember one thing they mentioned that even though this really looks like the statement, the question, so Sheldon just answered yes, then they continue to talk, right? So this is actually very humorous here, right? Because we actually expect that he do something, right? He passed the checkup. Right? So that's very interesting. We can actually do a lot of analysis like that. If you are interested in a certain say soap opera or like whatever, say you can find out for example, like just like maybe part of the say videos, right? You can figure out whether there are some humorous effects. Right? If there is a humorous effect, if there is a certain maxim that may be flouted, and you can try to, to interpret this humorous effect, right? By drawing on our knowledge in pragmatics, right? So pragmatics is everywhere. I actually, when I was in say college, I believe, I figured out the Friends is very interesting. Say resource for me to, take a look and analyze. So I try to analyze the, say, cooperative principles, say there, how the people violated these maxims or flouted these maxims, right, in the, film, in the Friends. So you can take a look at a lot of, you can have a lot of different, and I know, some of the students are interested in like talk shows as well, right? We can analyze some conversations, say do some discourse analysis, conversation analysis, or you can just really rely on a certain, say cooperative principle, for example, pragmatic knowledge, right? In order to, interpret these conversations. Let us move on. I have one exercise for you. When you learn this from a YouTube video, I would like you to take a look at these following examples. Let us see how is a cooperative principle flouted. Okay, the first one. Where is Professor Fowler's office? The answer is, I think I'll go to Dagwood for lunch today.
Relevance.
Relevance. Very good. Right? Relevance. How about this one?
And even quantity, yes?
Relevance.
No.
Relevance. Just relevance. Yeah, because he's talking about something different, right? Okay, now how about next one? Where is Professor Fowler's office? Then the answer, take a look at this. Okay, what maxim?
As the quantity.
Yeah, this is
So quantity, too much, right? Okay, too much information here. How about this one? You know what? I feel possibly this is more about quantity. Don't you think so?
Yeah.
That too.
How about it too? Do you think this would be something to do with manner?
Oh,
Vague, ambiguous,
not clear.
right? It's not clear at all, right? Right? So this one, we agree, right?
Yes.
The manner.
That's the manner.
Yes, the manner was flouted. Then here comes the third one. Where is Professor Fowler's office? Then the answer is that the Valentine 514. Actually, that's enough, right? And the speaker, introduces, say this specific office a lot. Even talked about how the professor, got a chance to watch TV in his office, right? Too much. More information than is expected, right? So this is something to do with quantity. How about the last one?
Quality maxim.
Good. Because actually he's telling a lie, right? That's not true. Good job. Okay, let us continue to discuss politeness theory. Okay, of course, we know that in order to have a good conversation, we want to be polite, right? So what is politeness? Politeness can be defined as this. It is action taken by competent speakers in a community in order to attend to possible social or interpersonal disturbance. Okay? Or there is another definition. Politeness is oriented to people's needs or desires, or is concerned with people's obligation to each other. These are the definitions. Now, relating to this, there is an important construct that is face. Have you ever heard of face?
Lose your face.
Yes, we lose. Okay, face. Face and politeness strategies. Let us take a look at the face here. Goffman proposed the notion of face. Face here refers to the public image that the individual seeks to project. So that is to say, we always have our face want, right? The face want can be divided into two types. One is positive face, and the other is negative face. So we have positive, then we have negative. How can you understand it? Positive face is individual's desire to seem worthy and deserving of approval. So feel like I would like you, say to say something like that is really good for me. For example, praise me, appreciate me, or say value my, say contribution, whatever, right? Then another one is negative face. Negative face is individual's desire to be unimpeded by others. So for example, I don't want to be interrupted. If I'm working here, I don't want to interrupt it, right? So for example, all of a sudden somebody jumped in and say ask me a certain question, usually want to have a specific strategy, right? Politeness strategy. Why? Because the negative face want is needed here, because I do not want to be impeded. So relating to this face want, we have politeness strategies. So we have negative politeness strategies and positive negative strategies. So by the way, these strategies are proposed by Brown and Levinson. Okay. So let us take a look at these definitions here. Negative politeness strategies refers to those strategies that address negative face want. So if you take a look at this, and then for sure, negative face want is individual's desire to be not impeded, right? Now, positive politeness strategies are the strategies that address positive face want. So then what is positive face want? Again, here, positive face is that the individuals do not like you to, would not love you to, not desire to, seem worthy and deserving of the, approval. Now here, you can see if you want to save the speaker's, the hearer's positive face, then you try to maximize the benefit to the hearer. You maximize the benefit, right? If you want to address their negative face want, then you try to minimize the cost to the hearer.
I'm just looking for an example, for example.
Yeah, I'll give you examples. Very good. I'll give you here. Here, I'll give you some examples. So, for example, if you give students or a certain person an order, or you're making a request. So, for example, I need you to do something, right? I request somebody to do something for me. Of course, it is something to do with the negative or positive face want. I would like you to do something for me. Then I would need your time and your, investment. Is that negative face want or positive face want? The positive face want. Positive face want is something to do with, the hearer's desire to be appreciated, to, for example, to feel worthy, right? While if you do the negative face want, you try to be polite, right? Because you have already used up their time, or used up their money even. If you want to, for example, if I need to borrow some money from you, right? And then, of course, that is something to do with positive or negative face want. I need to borrow money from you. Eventually, you don't want to be impeded, right?
So that's negative.
That's negative face want, right?
So then this would be threatening the negative
That's right.
Because you don't want to be impeded and take my time
That's right. So time,
to.
energy, even money, you know, something like that. So that is called negative response, right?
Negative.
But if you have like somebody's, you got somebody's approval, or somebody praised you, you know, somebody, you know, appreciate your help, right? Then that is, of course, you know, positive response, right? So here I give you the example. If you say something like, I disagree, I don't think that's true, so it's bad because this will damage my, you know, positive response, right? Because I want you to say that, you know, say you agree with me and you think what I'm saying here is right? So that is something to do with the positive response. Okay, later I'll show you exactly how, because we have different strategies you can achieve it, right? So right after that, we have even another say important concept, that is going on record. Going on record means that you even just does this face threatening act and you doesn't wrap it up at all, you know, say with any positive or negative response or the negative production strategies. So you just do it. You just do these face threatening acts. For example, passing the thought or what's the time. So these are going on record. For example, if we have passing the thought or what's the time, all these are what? Are impolite at all, right? So these are going on record. So these are called going on record. So once again, if you want to address this face threatening acts, you need to use strategies. Okay? Now I'll show you what specific strategies you can use. Take a look at table 4, table 5, and table 6. Okay. These handouts give you a clear understanding of different types of strategies. For example, even for politeness even for negative strategies, they have several types. For, you know, say positive politeness, they have once again several types. Then later, when you analyze the positive or negative, you can figure out which specific strategies it might have, right? So I will have this for you and this for you. Let's take a look. By the way, the original, say, principles actually are proposed by Brown and Levinson. So in this article, it's good to know that the author rely on or draw on the knowledge in cooperative principle, you know, say, politeness strategies, and, you know, analyze the politeness strategies in collaborative email exchange. So in CMC context, right? So that's the reason I give you this, because these specific strategies are represented in this article. Does it make sense? So that is to say, say this is not from the author, but from the original two authors, Brown and Levinson. Okay, let us discuss the positive strategies here. Table 4. Did you see that we clear all of the strategies? We use P, means politeness, right? Then we have minus, the plus, right? So P plus 1, P plus 2, P plus 3, until P plus 15. So there are 15 specific positive politeness strategies. Let us go over it. Notice, attend to H, or H means hearer, right? H means hearer. So you attend to the hearer, you pay attention to his interest or her interest, wants, needs, input. Like P3, intensify interest to hearer, right? And here's the example. You always do the dishes. I will do them tonight. So I will try to help you. Of course, this is intensify interest to hearer. Or you try to, you know, seek agreement. Is that right? So how about the match last night? And then you try to be, you know, say, cooperative and supportive. If somebody did well, okay, something like that. Or joke. Okay, take a look at those. We have several types of, you know, politeness strategies here for this column. All those are positive. Do you agree? Do you believe that all these actually address the hearer's, you know, positive response? Seem to be worthy. right? Worthy or deserving of approval.
And it seems to make them more agreeable to help you out in return. Like if it's assume or assert reciprocity, I will help you with your Spanish. I hope you can do the same with my English. It's like
reciprocal there.
Instead of the negative would be, I hope you can help me with my Spanish. Well, that takes time.
That's right. That's right.
That would be a negative politeness strategy.
That's right. Good. To go over all these strategies in table 4. Any questions for table 4?
I think just about number 7.
7?
Yeah, it's very good.
Okay, P plus 7.
Yeah, P plus 7.
Presuppose, raise, assert common ground. So things like this is a community, right? You try to say join, say author's attention to this community, right? So we have a common ground. Usually like, oh wow, this is interesting. This is lovely. Yeah. Do you think try to give a really positive feelings and everybody believe that you feel like a sense of belonging, something like that? Do you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, set a tone. Set a very friendly tone, I should say. Set a friendly tone. Like an example, when the person, walked into the house, then, so what does the person say? He or she said, oh, this is lovely, right? I think this is really good one because you try to, create a good atmosphere. So things like that very friendly, right? That's right. So this is, something to do with a certain common ground. We will set a friendly tone. Table 5, negative politeness strategies. Now, if you take a look at all these, they are marked P minus 1 until P minus 10. So here, 10 different specific negative politeness strategies are addressed. Each individual strategy is clear to you?
Yeah, and sorry, and number 2 it says questions and then says edge.
Hedge, yes. Says that this may not be relevant.
Oh.
Hedge here. So we do not say this is not relevant, but I say this may not be. We try to use hedge here. This may not be relevant, but blah, blah, blah. Do you think usually we love to do this, right? You want to ask certain questions, and then you say something like, oh, this might not be so relevant, but can you please let me know? Can you please explain something, to me, right? Do you think all of the strategies actually address the person's negative response? The person, the clearer does not want to be impeded, right? Got it? Yes, you agree, right? Okay. Now the last one is off record. Table 6. Off record is interesting because you actually just do not say something directly, right? You have like something implied, right? So these are the indirect utterances. Here, OFF, off record. Then you have number 1 until number 15. You give hints, you give association clues, you may overstate, you may understate, be ironic, be ambiguous, be vague. Let us go through all these strategies. And then I have a small exercise. So before we do the exercise, I would give you one example here. Take a look at this utterance. What specific strategy, is used? Let us take a look. Maybe 2 strategies are used. Maybe 3 are used, right? Let us figure it out. Try to, say use all the information here in the table. Okay. Now let's go. Mouse, I haven't seen you in years. You look terrific. What are you up to?
Positive.
Very good. We have positive, right? Positive strategies. How do you know? Because there are several features here, right? So if you go check the table, what specific, strategy? Give me
I haven't seen you in years is off record.
You mean which one? You mean P plus the common ground, right? You want to say P plus 7?
So let me just think about it.
Uh-huh.
I would say P plus 2 because he's saying you look terrific.
That's right. Very exciting,
and then
right?
P plus 4. group identity.
Group
markers.
identity, that's right.
Like, I haven't seen you in years.
Yes.
And then what are you up to? It's like, you're showing interest.
She interested to the hero. Very good. P2, P3, right?
And
Or P4.
I thought there was one that had showing interest.
You mean the first one? You're starting lovely.
Yes, that one.
Mm-hmm.
So P1, P2, 4.
Good. 1 to 4, you think, right? Excuse me, Dr. Michaels, I'm sorry, but could I just interrupt you for one moment?
This is negative.
Negative, very good, okay.
Excuse
How?
me, doctor, this give difference. P minus 5.
Yes, give difference, P minus 5, good. How about, could I just?
Would also be like P minus 6 because he's apologized.
Apologize, very good, because he said, I'm sorry, right? Very good, Kim.
And
Wonderful.
P minus
How about
3.
Yes, because missing, very good. This is very good. Because he said like, could I? Maybe you deny, right? So like, could I? So this is actually be pessimistic. Anything else? For one moment. How about this one?
I think that's minimize for one moment.
Yes. So once again, something to do with the negative, right? Phase one, because you don't want the hearer to be impeded, right? But there is actually a strategy for you. If you go to take a look at the strategies in table 6, off record, there is one called understate. Is that just one moment? Maybe not. Understate. So for example, like here, I would say, I may interrupt you not just for one moment, right? Maybe for 1 hour. I'm not sure, you know what I mean? And say, sometimes we just say, can I ask a quick question? No, it should be very quick.
But it's really like several questions.
Could you spare me 1 minute? Right? Could you spare me 2 minutes? But usually, we go beyond 2 minutes, or even 10 minutes, 20 minutes, right? Okay, we are doing the, what is it called? Understate, right? Understatement. So this is a good strategy we use. We call it off record, right? So for me, this is the negative politeness strategies as well as off record. Is that right? Okay, we are doing great. Now I have the exercise for you. I will have the following sentences which actually are face threatening acts. You need to you try to change these face threatening acts to the redressive action. So once again, redressive actions are something to do with politeness. You try to be polite. In which way? You want to add something, you want to change something, right? To make it polite. Now let's see. If I say, what's the time, right? So it is what? It is
Negative.
go, yeah,
And face threatening.
face threatening, that's right.
So
How
I
can
change
you
it
do
to, could you please tell me the time?
Very good. Could you please tell me the time, which strategies?
The negative.
Negative strategy, very good. Negative polite strategy, we use, could you please tell me what time it is? Right, how about next one? You've got toothpaste on your shirt. Sometimes we got something on, right? We got toothpaste on your shirt. We've got toothpaste on your shirt. Is it embarrassing? Of course, it's embarrassing, right? If you say that directly, that's definitely not polite, right? You want to change it.
I won't say that. I will say you've got something on your shirt.
Good. So you try to change toothpaste into something. Which strategy are you using?
So I'm thinking, oh,
Off record, right? Which one?
Yeah, because I would be like, I remember like sometimes my friend, she loves to wear red lipstick. Sometimes it gets on her teeth.
Oh, really?
And I do off record because I go like that. I don't even say. I just gesture and
That's
she knows what I mean.
Exactly. You just need to imply the meaning there, right?
Or like sometimes if somebody, like you have a mark or your eye.
See.
And
they, yeah. Good. See, this is what we're talking about. Just now we mentioned that even those gestures and some icons can actually have cautionary and precautionary acts, right? Okay, you can have different precautionary forces as well. Now, for me, I may want to change it to not you've got. I will say there is. There is something on your shirt, right? I really don't want to say like you yourself did that, right? Maybe somebody else, it is not your own fault, you can say there is something on your shirt, right? So once again, what is that? That should be off for again, right? It is understatement. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay. How about next one? Pass the salt.
So it is negative, so we can
Yeah, this you want to use.
P minus 3.
You want P minus 3.
Or even P minus 6 too, because you can say, I don't want to bother you, but
Oh,
could you
yeah.
please pass the salt?
That's right. Very good, very good. Okay, so just like maybe there is another one. I may even use the say positive strategy. Do you agree? I may use positive this time. The first one I use could you tell me the time, right? Then how about this time if I don't use positive one, I just add something. Add maybe the group identity marker. I can use like add a certain word that show the group identity. I mean P plus 4. For example,
thinking
when you talk with your husband, when you talk with your wife, right? Then you add something there, then pass me the salt, honey. Right? Pass me the salt. Right? So you add something that is actually a identity marker, or you show interest to this person, right? To this hero. Then it becomes polite. Does it make sense? Good. We don't want to say, could you pass me the salt? Honey, whatever, sometimes, because I think even here, this specific honey, the word is good enough, because this is something to do with our social relation, because the social, say distance is actually close enough. You really don't need to use the, negative politeness strategies. Do you agree? So this is what I will discuss with you. Factors that influence, these are the, say answers, some of the, suggested answers. So I will introduce you here, introducing the influencing factors. So whether you want to use negative, say politeness strategy, or the positive negative strategies, consider this. Consider the influential factors. There are 3 factors for you to consider: power relationship, social distance, and the cost of imposition. Okay, we'll discuss this one by one. First one, power relationship. So think about the relationship. Is this far or it is close? If
So
the
power is far, yeah?
Yeah, if the relationship is far, then you want to consider negative or positive risk. You want to consider
Negative.
negative. Very good.
Far is
Negative strategy.
Yes.
But if the power relationship is really close, right? So the power distance is really close, and then of course you can use, positive strategy, right? For example, here, if you are talking to government officer, you feel, government officer might be a little bit far, right, in power relations. Then you try to use the negative strategy, right? But if this is a telemarketer, right, then maybe you feel, the power is not so high there, and then you can definitely discuss, whatever you want using a positive strategy, right? Sometimes, people even do not be so polite, right? So we definitely, consider these factors. Who you are talking to, what specific person is this addressee, right? Second one, social distance. Social distance, that is to say, you really need to consider if the social distance is far or close. If it is far, once again, you want to use, negative strategy. Like you have got the daughter. Possibly definitely this, say utterance occurs within the family. right? You got the butter. That is to say, pass me the butter, right? We are friends. We are very close friends. You say, you've got the butter, right? But you don't want to say this to the person that is actually far socially, right? If the social distance is really far, you really want to avoid, you got the butter. That is really impolite. Does it make sense? Okay, then how about next one? Excuse me, are those the telephone accounts? Could I have them for a second? Which strategies are used here? Negative.
Negative.
Again, right? See? Because what? Because of the
Could I have,
social
for example,
distance.
social?
Is it far or close? Far.
I think for.
That's right. Is that clear? Very clear. How about next one? Cost of imposition. Asking for a few minutes versus asking for $100. What do you think?
I don't get it.
Which cost is higher for you?
The second one.
If I want to request, say, can I say, for example, borrow $100 from you? You feel like you are really afraid to say, right? $100 is much, and the cost of imposition is a little bit high, right? But if you just need like a few minutes, we discuss something very briefly within just a few minutes, and then you feel the cost of imposition is not so high, right? Then the strategies, the politeness strategies may be different, judging from the different situation.
And the social distance.
Yeah, sometimes
It might be harder asking someone in a power relationship or social distance. It might be harder for you to ask for just a few minutes of their time
That time.
than to ask someone close to you for $100.
Oh, exactly.
So it depends on.
Very good point. Exactly. Because actually those factors are actually even intertwining way, right? Some factors are overlapping, right? Sometimes, for example, like what you said, you feel like $100 doesn't mean anything if you are really your close friends or even like your parents.
Right.
Right? It makes sense. Good. And then in that situation, you might not want to use negative strategy, right? You may just go directly with some positive strategies. Good. So these are the factors that we need to consider. This gives us a chance to analyze our daily activities as well as our own utterances in our daily life. I would give you the chance to create scenarios to compare the politeness strategies you want to use in relation to different degrees of power relationship, social distance, and cost of imposition. Let us do this. So you will work in pair, and I would like you to think of 3 scenarios, at least 3 scenarios, okay? In each scenario, focus on the different degree of power relation. That is to say, you should have for example, high degree of power relationship, the high degree of social distance, or high degree of cost of imposition. If you want to do no degree, that's good too. So that's to say, I would be happy if you do maybe 3 scenarios, but address different degree. Let us discuss together.
Okay. So with power relationships, we came up with there's a scenario of like painting the fences. The fences need to be painted, and so the employer would be speaking to his employee. So that's the power relationship. And so the employer can tell the employee, as an off record, the fences need to be painted. And that is telling the employee, he's directing me to paint the fences in a non-direct way. Or you can use the negative politeness strategy and say, could you paint the fences?
I was thinking also this is the negative strategy. I think it is -10 is politeness -10. You have to say, I'd really appreciate if you would paint the fences.
Yes, this is a good strategy too. Because of the relatively, far distance.
Then we went to the social distance. So we said if it is near, we can use this one. Yes. We will make the barbecue. You bring the one.
Okay.
So this is near. But
Near,
if it
okay.
is far, so we can say we will make. For example,
You
say
know,
we will make dinner.
far.
Is it possible to bring wine? This way.
That's right. Is it possible for you to bring one? I think that's good. Very good. Okay, this definitely addresses the far social distance. Good. Any other scenarios?
Then that was so about the cost of imposition. Yeah, we talked about just giving ride to the airport. So okay, if it is near, we can say, "Would you give me a ride to the airport?"
Okay.
But
And I also said you can also do it as a joke, like P+8. You know, how about giving me a ride to the airport? Because it's near. You don't worry so much about,
That's right.
you know.
And then you just say something directly.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Makes sense.
And if it's far, the cost of imposition should be
You mean high cost, right?
much. Yeah, the
The low
cost
cost
of
or
imposition
cost,
should
yeah.
be lower,
Okay.
and so it would be, you know, oh, could I borrow?
Okay. Because for me, if the cost is really low, and I really do not need to use the negative connecting strategies, right? I want to use a pen.
But what if they're
I-
using the pen? Their imposition might be a little higher, right? If
That's
they're
right.
using
Oh,
it,
exactly.
and I don't have anything.
Yeah,
but
if-
I
if
have
they are-
something,
yeah, that's right, that's right.
"Oh, can I borrow your pen,
Yes,
please?"
that's right. Exactly. Once again, it should be, say, once again, these factors should be considered, say, as a unit, right? And as a, say, overlapping, say, strategy. We don't want to, consider only one individually. We want to consider some other factors if they may come into play as well. Good. But for me, if this is a low cost of imposition, then I will definitely do, even go on record. Don't you think so? Or give me a moment.
is it off record? For example, if I say not directly, just to say indirectly, I need a ride to the airport. I need a ride to the airport.
I need a ride. So this is impolite. It's very say indirect speech,
Yeah.
right? It's very good one, right? It's off record. So then it implies that somebody may help me. I really hope that somebody can help me. Okay? Good. Good. I hope you enjoy these discussions. Very good. Now, the last thing today we want to discuss is the cultural differences. Have you ever thought of this? Did you identify any cultural differences in expression politeness? We actually talked about the different gestures which may mean different in different cultures, right? How about those say politeness strategies? Have you thought of any differences in terms of the politeness strategies? For example, one type of group who might use negative politeness strategies more often than another group. Have you ever thought of
So I
that?
think that, really, comparing to my own culture,
That's right.
it is considered kind of politeness, but for example, you're in a taxi, yes, with another person. Just you start talking together, you strike up a conversation. Really, you don't know each other. Then when you want to pay the fee, yes, you offer to another person, okay, may I pay also for you? But you don't do that. You don't want to do that. Yes. So they consider this kind of politeness. But this one in the United States, I have never seen such a thing.
That's right.
Yes.
It's zero
Yeah.
instance there, right?
And even sometimes they insist, yes, they hold each other's hands. No, you shouldn't do that. Really?
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to pay, yes.
Yeah.
And then person says, okay, that's okay. He
Yes.
pays.
Then think about the politeness strategies. Have you ever thought of negative politeness strategies are actually more kind of at least to be acceptable in Asia. Do you agree? I mean, in Asian countries, I just believe that I tend to use a lot of, negative politeness strategies. Really? Do you agree? I believe so. But for example, I know in Australia, people tend to use positive strategies a lot, right? So I'll give you 2 examples, and then I will share you, say my experience. Okay. So first of all, if in Asia, you usually hear something like, "Oh, say Mr. Blah blah blah," or "Doctor, I apologize, but please, could you please blah blah blah," right? And so usually for me, the Asian politeness addresses hearers' negative face once more. So that's to say, usually we tend to use a lot of, even honorific address forms like be differential. Especially I know in Japanese, they even have different forms, right? So we call it honorific address forms. Well, I think so. Korea, right? It's the same. In China, we have like ni versus ning. So ning, both ni and ning mean you, right? But ning is even more polite, right? Sometimes we use ning, especially in written, the format. We tend to begin with.
Yeah, we have exactly the same thing in Farsi. Yeah.
Right. That's right. So how about next one? Australia way. Australia people tend to use positive face, address the positive face once more. They try to avoid the social distance. Seems like we are really, really close, right? We try to, avoid the social distance. For example, they love to address your first name, or they love to be addressed by their first name. How about here in the United States? I had experience. I tend to usually call my professor like, doctor or professor, or even like, Mr. or Mrs. If sometimes I just feel like they are kind of like, say older and senior, and I want to show my, difference in respect, right? And I tend to, use this negative strategy. But the other day, the instructor, when I was a, doctoral student, I was a TA, and I worked with another, instructor who's actually at his possibly 50, in his 50s, and he's a male instructor, and he kind of like very, very seriously the other day told me, "You should call me Jim rather than Mr. White." So I know, oh wow, it's really not so good. Every time I call him Mr. White, but he actually would love me to call him Jim. Go by the first name, even show the, the good, closer social relationship. Maybe that is really good suggestion, because at the very beginning, we do not know each other, right? But as we co-work together, and I learned, and I assisted him with his class, our social relationship becomes closer. Then I need to definitely change my way, of dressing him, right? So of course I know. So it's better for me to call him Jim, right? But if somebody call me like Dr. Lee, always I feel, of course, I would be happy to, every time, right? I've never corrected others, but students seldom call me Mimi, especially when I taught in China, they seldom, they just secretly, maybe in their dormitory, right? They call me Mimi, but actually we seldom have students, who really go by the first name. They feel like those are not so respectful. You know what I mean? How about here? What do you think? In this country?
Well, I think in the linguistics department, I hear a lot of, the students address them by Sal or Lucy. And I'm like, oh.
Oh. Do you think maybe this is one of the reasons, we tend to actually address the, let's say positive face ones, to want to show our relationship is so close, we're just like a big family. right? We are a community and we care for each other. We are so, friendly with each other. We are just like really, warm family.
But for example, for me, it is really, really hard to call my professor with the first name. Yes.
Yeah.
Because coming from that culture that
That's
you
right.
have to
That's right.
have a title before a person
That's right.
from another social class or
That's right.
another with a little higher power. So even if I call, for example, say Lucy, I have never done that. Yes. Then something inside says, why did you call that? Why did you say that?
I agree.
Yeah. Or we think that, okay, if we, to respect someone, so we need to call her with a title. That is exactly because of that culture.
That's right.
We never call an Iranian professor just the first name, just call.
Exactly. Yeah.
At least doctor, yes. Even before that doctor, they put another title to make it stronger.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. For me, I do agree. I always call my major professor, my previous, professor. Okay. I mean, all these years, still doctor. Right? Somebody. Yeah. Once again, that is something to do with your culture, something to do with addressee's preference, right? And then we try to accommodate our, speech, right, according to their preferences, right? So this is something to do with the accommodation theory that you will learn, in social linguistics, right? So this is a we try to accommodate each other, right? Okay, good. Any questions for this class?
Thank you.
Oh, this is exciting. I love this topic, huh? I hope you can do a lot of research studies, if possible in the future. Right? Okay, so we will not be meeting next week, but we will be back again for our, review session because I feel there is a chance for us go together all these contents, and I would love to give you like a Jeopardy game to work on. I mean, that is a good way for us to review all the knowledge we have learned in this class. Then I will try to address all the questions we may have regarding some chapters, right? Even like syntax, like semantics, like the phonology. I will go through the students' questions, the quizzes we have done, and then at the, in the next class, we will address all these questions. And then, of course, you can bring your questions here, right? And lastly, we will have our final exam. Then, well done. How time flies,
Thank you.
right? I hope you enjoyed it. Okay, good. Please let me know if you have any questions. Okay, bye.